The walleye cheaters got charged. That's right. You know, that story that came out about a week or so ago and just basically transcended pop culture because of that video. If you have not seen it, go back and watch. The walleye anglers get busted for putting lead weights down into the walleye that they brought in to weigh in for the tournament. I'm not going to show that video here. Just a little fair warning. There's a lot of profanity in that video. A lot of the other anglers are pretty upset about it, especially in the times. But this is from just this past week. Both of those anglers were charged with felony charges. I'm going to read it to you. Jacob Runyon, 42, of Ohio, and then Chase Kaminsky, 35, of Pennsylvania, were indicted by a Cleveland grand jury on fifth-degree felony charges. Like, that is serious. That is serious. And the prosecutor there said, "I take all crime very seriously." Sounds like my kind of guy. And then he says, "And I believe that these two individuals attempted to do, what they attempted to do was not only dishonorable, but criminal." Dramatic eyeglasses take off. That is a big deal. The prosecutor seems very determined to make sure that these guys pay the price for what they did. They seized the boat and the trailer from the anglers. A lot of the other anglers had been highly suspicious, is what it says. Their winning streak had been for several months, winning multiple tournaments on Lake Erie, and amassed hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think it was over $300,000 in winnings. And when the pair's fish were cut open, as you could see if you watched that video, the weights and their other walleye fillets, seems odd, were stuffed down in there. I think that the fillets were stuffed in there after the weights to keep the weights from rolling out. That's what I'm guessing. Why else would you stuff fillets in there? They don't hardly weigh anything. All of this was caught on multiple cell phone videos, and it just kind of transcended, like the pop culture. It just went totally viral. That video, or those videos, I should say, because it was multiple videos. And as a professional tournament angler, I'm extremely, extremely disappointed to see stuff like that, because for a number of reasons. One, people doubt what you do for a living anytime something like that comes about. But then again, if you're an accountant and you see where some CPA or some CFO is indicted for keeping crooked books, he's kind of, I feel like it may be kind of the same way. Are all accountants, cooking the books to make their clients look better? Absolutely not. I mean, no way, shape, or form. The serious ones take their job and their profession very seriously, and they do not do anything that's across the line. Professional anglers, by and large, are the same way. Now, do anglers push that line? I think they absolutely do. There's a lot of, I think a lot of general fans that think more guys cross the line than they probably do. But as a professional bass fishing angler for the last 20 some years, the number of times I've seen intentional cheating that has been caught at the professional level of bass fishing, I can count on one hand. It just doesn't happen very often. You get caught once and you cheat, then you're always a cheater. There's a lot of people that say that, whether it's in a relationship with somebody, or in your profession, whether it's a fisherman or an attorney, or whatever you happen to be doing. If you cheat once, you're always known as a cheater, because if you have the morals that stray off of your moral compass that allow you to do that, then who's to say you wouldn't do it again? So that's kind of that's been my philosophy. Never had any issues, and like all the guys that I room with, all the guys that I know and they're friends with on the professional level, have never had any issues at all. Now there's a couple anglers I wouldn't say that I'm closer to on the bass fishing side that are a little more gray area. They push the line a little bit, but I'm not close to those guys, and I'm not sitting here to indict them on accusations that are not true, because that's just not how I roll. It's a waste of my time, and I think it's a waste of y'all's time too. But the real big deal is these walleye fishermen getting caught and the whole video going viral. But by and large, it's been, I think, interesting. I think publicity in general is always good for whatever you're talking about. More people are aware of fishing in general. I'm personally, I'm really glad that video is not of a bass professional angler, just because I think the instances of that happening in bass fishing is extremely rare. I think the instances of that happening in walleye fishing are extremely rare. I did not know these two guys. I know a handful of walleye anglers. There is no way those guys would do something like that. The guys that I know, there is no way. And I guarantee you they were sick to their stomach when these yahoos got caught and that video went viral, because that is exactly what they do. They're professional walleye fishermen, and I hate it for those guys. They battle big waters. They figure out how to catch those walleyes. Man, they can be really tough to catch at times. They can be a little easier, but so can bass. Bass can be easier at times, but they can be also very, very tough. So hats off to those guys. My tip of the cap, and to the real pro walleye anglers out there. Not these jokers, not these yahoos that got caught and got busted. And I don't know what, 5th degree felony, that sounds like it's going to carry a pretty long prison sentence if convicted. I mean, we all saw the video. I don't know how you get around that. I don't think you can. I don't think you can get around that. I think that those dudes are cooked. They're done. It's just a matter of the judge that they go in front of. What kind of day is he having, or she? What kind of day is that judge having? If they're not having a good day and they're feeling a little mad about the situation, and they don't like these guys wasting their time in the courtroom, they might pull a Judge Smales and say, I didn't feel that I wanted to give them such a severe sentence, but I felt I owed it to them. Let's quote the Judge Smales. As many of you know, one of my favorite movies of all time. But, sometimes that comes into play, and I think their sentence will be severe. They get, what was the date on here? It said October 26th. October 26th, they will be arraigned. Let me get that right. Yeah, they'll be arraigned. So we'll see what happens then. We'll try to keep you updated on this story. Very fascinating, but I had a lot of, as soon as this story broke, a lot of people, I think all fishermen in general got like 100 texts in the next 3 or 4 days about this situation, and I'm no different than you guys out there. But when I saw that, the first thing I said is these people will be charged because of the amount of money that they were fishing for. I'm pretty sure it will be a felony, and that's exactly what happened. They got, multiple felonies. These guys, they're gonna have some time behind bars, I think, in their future. And hopefully the justice will take hold, and it will go through, and all of us anglers can get back to doing things the right way, and doing like we always do out there. I know a lot of you general anglers out there, you're just kind of fascinated about this at a different level, because guys out there fishing club tournaments and BFLs and team tournaments and stuff like that. Every once in a while, you'll hear something about somebody not doing something that's on the up and up. And man, if you hear about it, hopefully you guys can get them caught and get them cheated and get them convicted. so that they never, ever do that again. We don't need that in our sport. There's no place for it. Need to get out of there. Fishing is a good, wholesome sport, and we want to try to keep it that way. So if anybody has anything they want to drop down there in the comments, talk about anything that's happened, in their area before, things to look for, maybe. I told some people earlier that these guys that run the tournament are a professional tournament organization. They can tell by looking at the fish within a half pound what those fish are going to weigh. When those fish were weighing 2 pounds, 2 pounds heavier than they were supposed to, 2.5 pounds, whatever, they knew something was up, and it's pretty quick. I can look at 5 fish in a mesh bag that are getting ready to go on the scales and tell you within a pound, roughly, 9 out of 10 times, I can tell you within a pound of what those fish are going to weigh. I've seen so many of them. I can see them and I'd be like, that's over 21 pounds, 2 ounces. I can look at it and say, probably about 15 pounds, 14 pounds, 10 ounces. I can just do it. I've been doing it for 20 years. Tournament anglers, we all have this skill that you develop over the years of seeing the fish and kind of understanding what they're supposed to weigh. Sometimes it's harder to gauge your own fish than it is to gauge other fish, because you look at your fish multiple times during the day and then your head starts playing all these games with you. But if you look at somebody else's fish, you can take a quick look and go, yep, I can tell you that's about 11.5 pounds. Put them on the scale and it's 10, 14. You're like, well, pretty close. So we know what basically these fish are going to weigh. And, that's one thing to look for. But if anybody has any other tips on what to look for guys doing anything, any shenanigans like this, drop it down. If you've heard of anything else, guys dropping stuff into the weigh-in bags, trying to stuff other stuff down the fish, anything like that, drop it down. Let's make sure that we keep all of these tournaments, whether they're walleye or bass tournaments, on the up and up for a long, long time, and we can keep those cheating sons of guns, get them out of our sport. See ya. Get out of here.